Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blogtalk Radio.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Closer Encounters, the show where you, the listener, is also the guest. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. Closer Encounters is streaming live from Blogtalk Radio. We are also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Google Hangouts. For all of our newest updates, check us out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Would you like to be a special guest on Closer Encounters? Or do you know somebody that would like to be a special guest on Closer Encounters? Then just shoot us an email at closerencounters.info@gmail.com. That's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. Have you ever witnessed a UFO or seen something that you just cannot explain? Or maybe you've had your very own closer encounter. You believe in the ancient alien theory? We talk about this and much, much more. If you have a story, maybe a question that you'd like to get answered, give us a call. The number here is 347-989-1008. Again, the number 347-989-1008. Give us a call here at Closer Encounters. I'd love to talk to you.
Well, hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Closer Encounters, the show where you, the listener, is also the guest. So you know, I'm your host, Clarence Mitchell, and tonight is episode 106, and pretty cool thing happening. I just seen it advertised on TV, on the Science Channel and couple other different channels. I thought we'd talk about it tonight. But this year marks the 40th year for the movie Closer Encounters of the Third Kind. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. One of my favorite all-time movies since the day it come out, and I watched it. And yeah, really, really cool show. Hey, it looks like we have Tim with us here tonight. Let's get him booted up here. Hello, Mr. Collard. How are you, sir?
Hi, Clarence. I'm doing good, sir. Doing wonderful. How are you?
Good, good, good. little rainy, drizzle day. Of course, it has been past couple of days up here. I don't know if we're getting some of that weather from Texas or what, but yeah, been kind of chilly, you know, down in the 50s last couple of days. But other than that, you know, not too bad. So. Doing good. Yeah. 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 Hasn't reached much above 55, 56 all day today. So, yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Welcome to Minnesota.
Yeah, well, we're having very, very mild weather down here in Oklahoma. Well, in this part of Oklahoma anyway. Highs in the daytime in the 80s and lows in the 60s for August. That's almost unheard of.
Yeah,
here, but,
no kidding.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah,
At any time, man.
no doubt. Cool. Yeah, it's been crazy here. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we even really had a true summer here this year. You know, it's been chilly at night all summer long. You know, I think we've had maybe a week of high temperatures, but other than that, not much. So, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I didn't know if you heard the intro or not. Closer Encounters, 40-year close encounters of the third kind. Yeah, I should stop saying closer. But anyway, 40 years. I can't believe it's been that long already. My goodness, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't seem that long ago.
Oh my gosh, ain't that something? Yeah.
I'll never forget it. It totally just that movie just blew me away.
Me too.
Beyond my wildest imagination when it came out. It was just it was so groundbreaking in all the special effects and everything that were in it that I don't know how many times I watched it. I went to the theater and seen it 3 times just so I could catch how they, you know, how it looked and how real it looked.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely.
Now, by today's comparison, it's, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, it's not as good as what we have today, but like I said, back then, it was unbelievable. I couldn't figure out how they did that, how they made it work like that, you know, how they made it look so real. You know?
Well, I know. Well, I don't know. You know, I pulled the old movie out early this morning. I have it on DVR also. I recorded it. Of course, when you get it on the TV, you get all the damn commercials with it, you know. But I do have it on CD. And I'm still amazed at the effects that they had in that movie. And I tell you, when he put that thing together, it just amazes me the detail that he went through, you know, putting all that in there. It's just astonishing.
Yeah.
I mean, even the storyline was just unbelievable. What Dreyfus went through, you know, or whatever his character name was, but you know, from beginning to end, you know, from his first UFO sighting all the way up to the actual getting on board the ship. I mean, it's just wow. Yeah. Crazy.
But, I remember the thing that struck me the most about the movie, and you know, it just brought so many things together for me at that time, right there. When I was a kid, when I was a youngster, I don't really remember how old I was. I couldn't have been. I wasn't in my teens yet. I was preteen. I was maybe 11 or 12, something like that.
Yeah. And
my grandparents took me to go see Devil's Tower.
Cool.
I think it was Wyoming.
Right.
Wyoming or the I think it's in Wyoming. But I'll never forget the way it felt around there. You know, I felt this energy field. You know, I didn't know what it was, but you know, it was just I'll never forget that electrical charge that I felt. You know, and my grandparents, they told me that you know, be prepared when you see this, when you get up there, it's going to surprise you. if you're going to be in for a treat.
Right.
And I didn't really understand what they were talking about until I was there, and it was something that was just, I'll never forget how it felt being around there, you know, and I guess it was the first time that I was ever really at a great megalithic spot,
Mm-hmm.
you know, one of the wonders of the world. You know, they still don't, science or geologists still don't really understand how it was formed. You know, and who knows? There might have been something, you know, that we're not aware of that caused it to.
Well, according to mainstream science, I mean, as far as I can gather, I've been doing a lot of reading up on that particular thing lately, and I'll tell you why. Because there's been a lot of postings running around about this particular root system that supposedly has been mapped underneath it. So they're trying to say it's a giant tree, you know, petrified or whatever. Well, it wound up being a hoax anyway, make a long story short. But upon doing some research on it, from what I can gather, they actually think it was made by a volcano back, you know, thousands and thousands of years ago. Now, what happened to the surrounding land mass around it to let it sit there by itself, I have no idea. I really can't get the gist of it, you know, why that would be there by itself and not, you know, anything else around it. It's pretty crazy, but it is definitely rock. They know that much. But, you know, how and when and whatever.
They explain, you know, geologists have a way of explaining things that to me still doesn't make sense on a lot of things. Like,
I agree.
Monument Valley in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been through there also, and that was a place that you feel energy through there, just like Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a spin-off of Sedona. I think that it's locked into that same power grid, not power grid, energy grid.
Sure.
From emitting from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
These natural places, you know, Stonehenge is another place. There's many other places around the world that, where the energy emits from the earth.
Well, you know about the you know about the mapping that they've done, where they've gone through and they've actually drew a circle, you know, completely around, linking all these things together, and then they went from there, and you know, it winds up forming a complete geological. It winds up forming an actual pattern, symmetrical, all around the world. And each one of these hot spots, you know, Bermuda Triangle, Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids, and all them are on one of these lines, and they all fit perfect, you know, one way or the other.
Right.
So,
and I believe, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is how I understand it to work, that those lines are called way lines.
Some of them,
yes. They exist in areas where there is energy emitting from the earth. Now, this is one reason why I would love to go to Great Britain and to visit Stonehenge and some of the places around Stonehenge, because from people I've talked to and people that live there that I've talked to, there are places where you can actually levitate off the ground. You actually
really
defy gravity. Gravity either doesn't exist there or gravity is manipulated along those spots, and those are on what are called way lines. They're the energy transitional lines that intersect with every other energy point on Earth, and they cross water. They cross, you know, they
right.
You know, they just exist. It's just a natural forming energy grid that's
there.
Mhm.
And I believe that was what was the ancients, our ancestors. I believe, this is my belief. This is what I believe, that we are the descendants of the colonization of Earth,
Mhm.
that was colonized by a Type 1 society
Mhm.
that was very, very highly technically advanced. And this is something that, I spoke a little bit of, I got into speaking about the places like Memory Dog and other places around the globe,
Right.
where the ruins are at. We can see that, this magnificent ability today. Well, what I really am doing, and what I'm researching, and I'm coming, Clarence, I'm telling you, I'm stumbling into something here that I really, I don't know what it is, but I'm on a journey, and I'm on a quest.
Cool.
One thing, before I get too off base here, what I'm referring to is Nikola Tesla.
Mhm.
He wrote in his diaries that what he did is that when he designed the electrical system, and when he designed the AC motors,
Right.
the motors and all that stuff, he imagined it in his brain. He's seen it working in his mind first.
Sure.
And what I'm finding, what I'm tapping into, is that the cosmic record, or the cosmic book of knowledge of the universe, that's there for all of us. He was able to see how things work, and I'm taking his notes and his design of that,
Mhm.
and going along that line, and I'm looking at things and wondering how it works, and now I'm at the point where I'm visualizing how it does work, like the energy power plants of the pyramids,
Right.
how they worked,
Right.
what made them work,
Mhm.
and how they interconnected, and I'm beginning to see this thing. It's folding out like a movie in my mind's eye.
Wow.
I see this. I see it, how it's working. I see how it can work, and it's very, very plausible, and it's something that is just I think that what it encompasses is, this is where the spirituality of us human beings come into.
Mhm.
That if we root ourselves in either a positive energy or negative energy, that we can do whatever we want to in either way.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of evil people that are doing well in this world. I mean, just because you're evil doesn't mean you're gonna fail, or just
True. Yeah.
that you're not going to be
Yeah.
successful.
Right.
There's a whole, I mean, it's very much right there. We can see this, we can see it working. But there's also the other side of it, the positive side of the force, so to speak. And I'm using the dialogue from Star Wars on that, but it really is what it boils down to is keeping yourself focused to the positive side, to doing good, to doing right, to doing what's best for everyone, and much like the Jedi.
Sure.
The Jedi were, they were in tune, and they used as they manifested themselves, and as they became more and more stronger, they became more and more able to use the force.
Sure.
And I'm seeing this working in myself. I'm seeing it working and that's why I'm speaking about this. It's something that's real. It's something that's plausible. It's something that is absolutely working.
Cool.
It's at work right now. I can't help but
You know, it's like the bubble inside me is just wanting to explode out. You know, I feel like a jack in the box. You know,
Well,
somebody's cranked the handle and it's fixing to pop out. You know.
Are you documenting this in any way? I mean, are you trying to? I mean, you know, are you jotting this stuff down, or? I mean, if you could.
I'm making notes. I'm making notes as I'm going, and and I'm making vocal recordings,
Cool.
a recording of what I'm doing, and you know, basically making notes. I'm getting ready to write a book, and this is all encompassing. That all started, you know, throughout the process. You know, it's just a natural flow of things start going in that direction, and I'm like, holy wow, man, this
Wow.
is something that's
Awesome.
incredible, man. This is something that's really, you know, once it starts, it's not really work. It's always been at work.
Sure.
I'm becoming part of it. You know, I'm becoming, you know, I am being influenced by this, and it's such a powerful thing that I can't keep it inside. You know,
Right.
I can't keep it locked up. I have to talk about it.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, we have another caller here, Tim. Let's see who we got here real quick here. Hello, caller, you with us?
Am I here?
Yeah.
I just had a question.
Okay.
Did you do 9/11? Did you do 9/11?
No.
Are you sure? I think you did 9/11.
Okay. One more for the troll bucket. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Never fails. You know, they're entertaining as all hell. They really are. I'm you know, you gotta laugh. Oh well.
Yeah. You know, I used to take offense to things like that.
I don't. Yeah.
I just, you know, I gotta laugh it off. You can't allow yourself to get
No, absolutely not.
too emotional and something like that, because
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you know,
around there's gonna be something or someone else, you know,
Yeah.
gonna be rattling your cage.
Well, here's one way to look at it. If they're coming on the show and doing that, then they're not out breaking windows or, you know, doing whatever. So, you know, more power to them.
Right.
Doc Snyder's on.
Yeah.
Hello, Doc. He says he's going to call in a few, so that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be good. And we have like 7 viewers on YouTube right now, and I'm watching that in Google Hangout. So if anybody wants to call in, yeah, if anybody like to call in, of course, the number here is 347-989-1008. We'd love to chat with you. So by all means, give us a shout, good or bad, whatever. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and don't be afraid to speak out about things. You know, a lot of people. I know a lot of people are embarrassed, so they're afraid to
Right.
speak out. You know, because they're afraid that somebody's going to make fun of them.
Well, here's the thing:
you know,
you don't have to give us your real name, and you're not live. We're not seeing your face, so you know it doesn't matter. That's the way it works. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Doc says I'm the only one on Facebook right now. Yeah, I don't know what. I think what happened was when I went on Facebook today and made the show and the event, I could not send out invites. They changed the format for whatever stupid reason, and I got like 250 people that I actually send out invites at, because you can select all, and they don't have that. Well, it would take me 2 hours to sit there and select every single individual to invite. So,
Oh man.
yeah. So they took that part away for whatever reason. I hope they fix it. So I just went ahead and just posted it up as I did, and hopefully people would see it, and, you know, but I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I really don't, but. But Yeah, they always change something, and it's just enough to upset you. You know, I'm like, why did they take that away? You know, but I don't know. Maybe they don't even know it. Yeah.
But last night, right at the, I didn't realize it was at the end of the show when it happened, but my phone died on me.
Oh, yes.
It just went dead. It went completely dead. And I had to, I've been fooling with it all day. I don't know what happened, but out of the clear blue, it just all of a sudden decided, you know, it wasn't going to work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we always talk about some pretty things that are on the cutting edge,
right?
Of things. You know, we're bringing to light a lot of things that maybe a lot of the powers that be don't want to come to light.
Well, how many times have we been booted here? I mean, yeah, you know, people are listening in. You know, they got their finger on the trigger, so to speak, you know, whatever. No doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, like I said, this thing will run 24/7. I would have a bit of problem with it. As soon as I get into the show and we're talking on something really good, boop, you know, down it'll go. So, yeah, never fails. So, yeah, tell me somebody ain't out there looking or listening.
Yeah, Big Brother is not going to, you know, want to kind of, they can't shut you off, but they can kind of, you know, they can interfere with you.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Make it
rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just laugh at them. I mean, you know, because there's other ways of getting on. So
I think that there's an epiphany that's going on throughout the world right now.
Yeah.
That can't be denied, can't be stopped. It can't be derailed or anything else because of the fact that we are stardust. We are.
Right. I see Steve just jumped in. Hello, Steve. How are you, sir?
Yeah, but we have it in our DNA from our ancestors, you know, from the people
yes, Don.
who were here, you know, that were long ago, these long ago societies that've been lost through the ions and through the millennia of time.
Right.
We still have the ability to have to make things and to design things and to do a lot of stuff. And the thing that gets me, and one thing that I look at is that a lot of the stuff that we are getting into and designing are maybe things that we shouldn't be messing with.
Well, I said that too. Yeah.
A lot of things we shouldn't be playing around with.
Well,
because we don't know. Number one, we really don't know what's going to like. Well, yeah. I mean,
the hydrogen collider is the one thing that bothers me. You know. Yeah. That thing's scary.
The positive things that can come that are coming out of the Hadron Collider.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, scientists are going ooh and ah at, you know.
Right.
They really don't know what they're messing with.
Absolutely.
They have no idea what they're fooling around with, and you know, they could be, you know, messing around and not aware that they could be developing an event horizon right here on Earth.
Well, and you never, you know, that's the thing.
To happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, that you know, there we go. You know, that's
mm-hmm.
You know, it's stuff to definitely wonder about, think about, you know, and to be wary of, you know, because.
Well, I tell you, it wouldn't surprise me that if they smash that atom into, you know, what they call the God particle, or if they ever find it, that it doesn't just obliviate us and start a whole new solar system. You know, then we'll know for sure how ours started. Oops. You know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You know?
It'd be too late by the time they realize that, we shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, but,
Hey, we got another caller here, Tim. This might be Doc. Now, Doc said he was going to call in, so let's see if this is him here. 402 area code. Let's see if we get him booted up. Hello, sir. Or ma'am.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Is this Doc?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Absolutely.
How you doing?
Good, good. What's going on?
doing
So that's
well, man.
Jim?
Yeah.
That's Jim on the other end?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So what are we talking about tonight?
Well, we actually started off,
Everything.
And everything?
yeah, anything and everything. We actually started off about the show Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is the 40th anniversary year. And they're actually, I didn't mention it, but I believe it's either this coming Friday or next Friday. You can get movie theater tickets for one night, for Friday night, and they're going to air it, you know, they're going to show it at the movies, you know, for the 40th year anniversary. I thought that was pretty cool. So I may just do that. I mean,
Oh, cool.
yeah. But 40 years.
I
Who,
have that movie on DVD too.
I
so.
do too, absolutely. One of the best movies ever. Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
That's one movie that is great. You have to see that on the silver screen.
Yes.
It's one of those things that.
Yeah, the first time when it came out, I saw it at the theater. So
Yeah. It was cutting edge. Yeah, no doubt about it. It still is, as far as I'm concerned. It's just. I mean, well, think about the dialogue of this movie, how much they actually had to do their research. I mean, they brought back the planes, you know, that disappeared in Bermuda Triangle. They brought back that one ship that disappeared, all sorts of Navy and Air Force personnel, you know, I mean, they went through the whole thing, you know, including the UFO sighting itself, the abduction part of it, you know, people getting burned by the glare. I mean, just on and on and on. And then, of course, the visions and the thing saying, you know, I got to be there. You know, there's something going on, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, the whole movie just, you know, everything they did was just unbelievable. It just, wow.
yeah, I gotta watch that movie again. I haven't seen it for a while. So
yeah, I blew the dust off from it this morning.
You know, it wasn't just the fact of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Close Encounters of the First, Second, and Third Kind.
Oh, he went right to the third.
Concept of how they went about doing it,
Mm-hmm.
how they made the storyline. It was just like that. It was like somebody who's already been there. Somebody, you know,
Yes.
somebody's already been doing this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
so many times Hollywood mimics real life.
Yes, they do.
A lot of things in real life, and it could be. You know, I'm not saying it is, but you know,
Well,
at the time, Steven Spielberg was just. I mean, his story.
I was trying to think of the director's name.
yeah,
Steven Spielberg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. Yeah, he did Jaws, and then he did Close Encounters. Well, he
Yeah.
also worked with George Lucas with Star Wars.
Oh,
He
cool.
was involved in that. You know, he wasn't a real big. He didn't have a real big involvement, but he helped out on a lot of the special effects and stuff. You know.
Right.
I'd had a job offer from ILM, Industrial Light and Magic,
No kidding.
but I had to move to California, so it wasn't like I'm not going out there.
Oh my goodness. I just seen Rob pop up
I
there.
had a good job. I had a good job doing computer stuff anyway. So they
Wow.
wanted me to attend the computer farm. So
That's awesome. Rob, if that was you, buddy, call us back.
now, but
Oh my goodness. I just seen an 845 number pop up, and I think it was Rob's number. We haven't heard from Rob in a very, very long time. I hope he calls back. Yeah. So if you're listening, bud, call us. We miss you.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. But anyway, yeah, I mean, here's the
I got a
thing.
question. Is there,
Sure. Go ahead, Doc.
there is a Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Absolutely. The way it's
Isn't that where
supposed to
they take
work,
away?
yeah, actually it is. Actually it is. That's where you actually are in the ship
That's when they break up.
doing your thing. Yeah.
That's when they break out the probes.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And all that stuff.
I'd like to know where that all come from.
A
You know.
little kinky after that.
Yeah. The first encounter is supposed to be like a sighting. The second encounter is where you actually the ship lands and you can actually touch the ship, you know, without anything else. Of course, the third encounter is actually having your visitation, you know, with the alien themselves. And then, of course, the fourth encounter is the abduction part of it, you know, and then they bring you back or whatever, you know. But that's how it's supposed to go. Now, you know, some people say differently, but there's four different encounters when it comes to that. But
Oh, okay.
so yeah,
I couldn't remember how those went. So
yeah. Which to me, as far as I'm concerned, the visitation and abduction to me are both the same. But there again, I guess some people aren't abducted; they're just visited. So I guess, you know, you do have to draw a fine line there. So, you know, that's how that goes. But and here's the thing to remember too. Now, when this movie came out, you know, in the '70s, it was a roaring time for UFOs and abductions and visitations and stuff. It was just hot, very, very hot. And our space program, you know, with the Voyagers and everything else, and the first landings on the moon and blah blah blah. I mean, it was just, it was just a phenomenal time. Yeah, phenomenal time.
I'll never forget everything that was going on at that time.
Absolutely.
The leaders of my work shop that I worked in the Navy. I was an aviation machinist mate, and so we were all mechanics, you know. And we had one half of the shop was jet and helo, and the other side was recip and fixed wing.
Cool.
So, and we interchanged. We worked back and forth. We shared the same jobs. I got cross-rated in both helos and fixed wing, and both jet and recip. So I got to get the full knowledge, the full hands-on knowledge of the old school stuff and the new school stuff and all the new stuff going on.
Right.
And a lot of the guys a lot of the old timers I was with, they started talking to me and talking to us about aircraft that they were designing and building an aircraft that had the capability of being invisible to radar, which is stealth.
Right.
And that's when they were building that's when the paid blue program was going.
Wow.
With Lockwood, they had the paid blue deal going on at Area 51.
Oh, Gail.
And they were developing the stealth fighter. These are things that we were learning about, and this is all it's really sci-fi stuff. This is all borderline science fiction. What we were learning about. I was wanting to learn everything I could, and I was wanting to learn about the SR-71. And at that time, back in the late 70s, early 80s, everything on the SR-71 was classified. Yeah. You open up you find a book.
A lot of it still is. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
You find a book on it, but when it got up to the engine, when it got up to the engine type, it gives you the engine type.
Yeah.
Then it would, the next one down, all the information from there is classified. Classified, all the way down.
Well, we do know.
What the heck?
Yeah, we do know it was our first stealth aircraft, believe it or not. And it had a kerosene engine, and it did go out of Earth's atmosphere. They had to wear spacesuits in order to fly it. So we know a lot about it, but not a lot, you know. But definitely the highest flying aircraft they ever built as far as self-propelled.
Yeah. See, all all that stuff was going on, and then out came Close Encounters of the Third.
Right on time.
Man,
Yeah,
I mean,
just like it was supposed to.
I was right there. You know, I was young and learning and seeing all this stuff and open to the wonders of the world, the wonders of the universe.
Absolutely.
And I'm not kidding you. This is no lie. I kid you not. That one of the guys, now there's a whole group of them that were these UFOologists. They were studying the UFOs, and they were actually watching this conflict that was going on straight above our base.
Wow.
Out in outer space, that you had to use binoculars. And I walked out outside the barracks one night, and there's this guy out there. This is one of my pals from one of the other work centers. He's out there, and he's going, man, he said, do you ever wonder what's going on above our heads? I said, well, sometimes.
No doubt.
He said, I'm going to tell you what. He said, I want to show you something. And I got to see. He showed me, and I got to see. Now, I was using the reference of stationary stars. The stars that were stationary.
Wow.
So, and these binoculars we had, the old Navy style binoculars they used to use for out on the ocean to look 40 miles.
I was in the Navy too, so.
Yeah.
You can pinpoint. Well, okay, so he had a pair of these binoculars, and so he handed them to me, and he told me where to look at. He pointed out certain stars. He said, in this one star cluster, he said, look in that star cluster. He said, just stay looking at that. He said, stay right there. He said, you're going to see something that's going to blow you away. And sure enough, buddy guys, let me tell you all, I watched something going on outside our atmosphere that was, these things were in conflict with each other out there. And I was like, no. I was like, I handed him back the binoculars, and I said, no, that's not real. He goes, man, he said,
Really?
You can listen to someone else. He said, but when you see it with your own eyes, what can you say?
Exactly.
Said, well, why is it everybody else? He said, most people really don't care. Most people, and if they do care, they get scared.
Yeah.
We don't want to panic a whole lot of people or anything, So, I'm like, well, yeah, and this is something that was going on. I don't know how long it had been going on, but I know for a fact I've seen it in, I think it was 1978 or 79. I've seen all this stuff that was going on.
Wow.
So,
well, it's funny because, around that same time, Bob Lazar took those reporters and stuff up to that lookout point there and showed him, they showed him the actual UFOs being tested, and stuff. And he told them the exact time, the day, the whole 9 yards. And sure enough, they went up there to Peekaboo Canyon, and there you go. So yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, and now we got, what amazes me. It amazes me, and it does. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain what word to use to describe it. But there's things that we have around us that we take for granted now. Now, one of them is LED lighting.
Right.
I'm a firm believer. When it first came out, LED lighting, that is not. Where did that come from? How did we magically all of a sudden, poof, we're able to make all this lighting, and no current.
Right.
It doesn't. It's brighter. It lasts longer, and it uses 1/10 of the current of a regular halogen bulb.
Right.
How does?
Well, I think that all stemmed from fiber optics back in the day. Yeah.
Again, we take it for granted. It's like cell phones. We take cell phone technology for granted. So
yeah, we do now.
But
yeah.
Man, there's a lot of stuff at work there that man.
Well, here's something. Even back in the 70s, the microwave oven just came out on market. They were really expensive and they were really big, but they were just coming out. Yeah. I can remember my next door neighbor, you know, bringing one home, and I'm like, yeah, what's that? She goes, it's a microwave, you know. And my dad swore up and down he'd never own one because they would fry your brain or stop your heart or cause cancer or, you know. Yeah, funny, very funny. Scared to death.
For a while, when you couldn't be near a microwave oven if you had a pacemaker.
That's true. Yes, absolutely.
Because the shielding wasn't that good on them, and that would cause interference with the pacemaker. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. No, you're right. Absolutely right.
There's a lot of radiation came out of them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The older South, the first.
Well, they had them big knobs on them. You just twisted the knob for the timer and the knob for the heat or whatever cycle you wanted it on and let it go. And yeah, you could put a whole broiler pan damn near inside of them at that time. They were so big. Took two people to carry it. Yeah.
Yeah. Microwave the technology from that came from the radars in the World War II.
Exactly.
There was a guy that was walking by with a candy bar in his pocket. He's walking by one of the microwave tubes, and his candy bar melted in his pocket.
Wow. Can you imagine that?
Yep.
Oof. That would scare the hell out of somebody.
And he yeah, that would scare the hell out of me for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, then he started saying why that happened, and I thought it was a microwave, and then you could actually cook food with it. But that was years and years before they came out commercially. So.
I remember the sad story when they first come out about the woman that fried her dog. She'd washed him. Yeah,
a lot of those are urban legends.
Yeah. True story, though. It actually happened, you know. But, yeah, it's just one of them things. And she threw the dog in there thinking it would dry the dog off. And, of course, she didn't know it cooked from the inside out. You know? Yeah. Ouch. I just couldn't imagine. But, yeah. But that's, you know, that's what people do. Yeah. Yeah, urban legend, exactly right. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Ugh. But yeah, what a time though. The 70s was just a remarkable time. And that movie, you know, Closer Encounters, just so hit home. Well, it was just a couple of years after my visitation and stuff that happened. And when I seen that movie, I was just in awe. You know, I couldn't hold back. I was like, wow, you know. You know, I couldn't tell anybody about what went on or anything like that. I kept it quiet for many, many years. But just seeing that movie, just, you know, yeah, that was crazy. It hit home. It really hit home hard. Yeah. And I've always...
Yeah, it did for me, too, because you know, I was grown... I grew up in a family that we've always been on the cutting edge of science and what was going on and astronomy and all this stuff, you know, and the possibility of there being a higher advanced crowd intelligence here, but people come here to visit us. You know, are they interdimensional travelers? Like, are they time travelers?
Right.
Are they, you know, what exactly? You know, these were all questions that were being asked by my grandma. My grandma was asking these questions. You know, so I grew up around all this stuff. You know, I was, you know, I pretty much didn't have any choice but to learn about it and to be in awe about it.
Sure.
And I'll never forget the first time that I heard the name Atlantis. And I'll never forget this. I can't remember how. I wasn't very old. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I heard the word Atlantis, and I was like, there was something that went through me. I remember the thought process of going, it at? Where is it?
Yeah, right.
Have they found it? Because it was like something inside me was saying it was there, that I was aware of it, but that something had happened. That there was a catastrophic event that took place. And it was at the center of it, and that was the last that was known. And this was in my conscience. This was in my mind.
Right.
And I'm like, what's going on here? That's the first time that I was aware or seen the possibility of past lives, and all that because of that. Because I'll never forget, and to this day, and well, you look around, people are still, and they're looking for Atlantis because inherently we know it's there. Inherently in our DNA, we know that Atlantis is real. We don't just have these books by Plato and going back through history and all these other people. Nostradamus spoke of Atlantis. What's his name? Edgar Casey. He was the latest one, pretty much. He was a big proponent of the lost continent. And what was going on and how it was found and all this. And I think that they have found it. I think that they are that either archaeologists or scientists or somebody have found proof of it.
Yeah,
they're sitting on divulging this information. They're keeping it from us.
Yeah, they just had a thing on TV about that the other night, as a matter of fact, on that HAM channel or something. I can't remember now what it's actually called, but and they were doing a new thing about it, where they found this city. They've been down there and they've dug up certain artifacts and whatever, trying to date these things out and whatever. But pretty interesting. My thought is, was
that the one over in southern Spain that they found?
Yes. Yep, that's the one.
The city with the rings?
Yep, that's the one.
That's Göbekli Tepe. That's in Turkey.
No.
No, I'm talking about they found. I think they found Atlantis in southern Spain, down by Gibraltar.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not okay. Okay. That's something I'm not.
Yeah, this just came out. I've heard about it for a couple of years, but I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah,
a lot of people haven't heard about it.
No, they just did a documentary on their search, where they did the scuba diving and they sent down the unmanned sub and all that stuff, trying to grab artifacts and doing whatever. And but here's my point though about that, because we found a bunch of different other places under the oceans. I mean, right along the border edges of different mainstream cities, and stuff. And of course, all of them have a claim of being Atlantis, which nothing so far is actually proved, or whatever. My suggestion, if they go by this world map that we were just talking about, where, the way lines and all that stuff. Now, if this place is that important, you would think it would be on that same parallel or on that same line. Why don't you just follow that and sonar yourself across and see what you come up with, That's just my idea. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah. See Ballard.
Yeah. But wouldn't it make more sense? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but I mean, I was thinking about it. I'm like, that would be the way to find it. If it's going to be built on one of these lines, then I'd follow one of them tracks and just sonar it on across until you hit it, or hit something anyway, But of course, maybe there's too many lines going through the ocean. I don't know, but
well, the thing about it is that for the most part, Atlantis itself that continent, that island continent, was some type of catastrophic event took place that pretty much vaporized it.
Yeah.
And blue parts and statues and pieces of it all over the world.
Supposedly,
and that one area right there outside of Bimini, what they call the Bimini Road,
right?
The island of Bimini.
Yep.
And the
Yeah, that's what Casey was talking about, right?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So that area right there, that's just a piece of what was blown from the area that was annihilated. You know, and there's other bits and pieces and statues and this and that that they're finding out in the middle of nowhere with no reason for it being there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I'm saying, well, that's because it was blown apart. And these are, these are just the remnants. These are the remnants of what was left.
Right.
Well, that makes as much sense as anything. So.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. That this is my hypothesis on this. This is, I've done study on it. I've done a lot of research and study, and I've stepped back on a lot of different issues, and one of them being Atlantis. That's my hypothesis. That along with the noblemen from Atlantis, they went out to different areas of the world, and I believe it goes back to the legend that somewhere along the line, some people think that though one of the Greek gods or one of the Egyptian gods was one of the descendants of Atlantis.
Wow.
That he brought the knowledge, he brought the mathematics and the architecture and all that stuff, and brought it to Egypt and gave it to the pharaohs to use, and gave started teaching that. And that's where the Egyptian dynasties got all their ability to do their buildings and to make their statues and all that stuff. But here's the thing. There was tools that was involved in doing all that stuff.
Sure.
And everybody's going, well, where's the tool at? Where's the tool at? Where's the tool? Well, anything that's any man-made tool. And anything that's made, is not going to survive. It's going to deteriorate over.
Well,
it'll last a few thousand years, but after 3 to 4, let's say 5,000 years, there's not going to be any resemblance, anything of any equipment or any machinery or anything else. It's going to be gone. Not going to be there.
Well, here's the thing, though.
We're not going to find that.
Look at that blade that they found with King Tut, made out of a meteorite.
That's true.
Complete iron. Now, if they had that kind of capability then, who knows what else they could do? We just haven't found other evidence. But there is evidence, and it's with his knife blade alone. And nobody knows how it was made or who would have had the knowledge to make it. Nobody knew that.
Right.
So yeah, something's fishy.
Yeah, well, there's another sword that was found in China that baffles people, baffles archaeologists and scientists. They can't figure out how it happens. It's made out of steel, made out of iron, but yet it has, there's not one sign of rust or any oxidation or anything on it.
Right.
And it's 2,000, at least 2,500 years old. How were they able to make a metal like that? And where'd they get the knowledge at?
Well,
for the metallurgy to build that.
Quite honestly, if it comes to Chinese and Japanese and stuff like that, they were way ahead of their time as far as metallurgy. Quite honestly, I mean, I think they were, like with gunpowder and different other things, they were on that stuff like hot tomatoes. Now, I'm not sure about that particular sword that you're talking about, though, but it wouldn't surprise me none if they had a hands up on that, because, they were quite the entrepreneurs. Yeah. Yeah, they were heavy into that stuff. But
well, the Japanese also, their samurai swords
yes,
are just unbelievable. That amount, the amount of metallurgy,
mm-hmm.
the technical, the technology.
Absolutely.
Somebody had to let them know that if you did this, it would make that.
Exactly.
You would add a little bit of, pound in a little piece of charcoal onto your carbon or onto your steel as you're folding it and mm-hmm. melting it and hammering it out and everything. That it will help to strengthen it, you know.
Right.
And if you add a little bit of this, it will make stainless steel, you know,
mm-hmm.
and all this, you know.
Right.
How do they know that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know, that's not something that you just come.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you don't just stumble on it. Well, let's add a little bit of this and see what happens to it. I mean, you know. But like I said, you know, with Tutankhamun's, you know, with King Tut's knife blade, you know, made out of a meteorite. I mean, how in the hell, you know, they didn't know anything about metallurgy. I mean, nothing. You know, I mean, did this thing just fall on the ground and it was a molten blob when they picked it up, or what? I mean, you know, I don't get it. I just don't get it. How would they know? You know, how would they know? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could smelt gold. We know that because everything they did was gold. You know, they made gold leaf and different other things, but and copper. But wow, yeah, who would have thought picking up a meteorite, a chunk of meteorite, and heating it up to that degree? I couldn't imagine how hot it would have to be in order to melt it down to even make metal out of it. But you know, it's just phenomenal. That thing just blows my mind every time I think about it. You know.
Well, you have iron and copper and gold. Those are all, you know, pure elements that you could work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, put in a fire and heat and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get your alloys, like Tim was just talking about, and that gets into a whole different ball of wax.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I'm not saying that, because I know as human beings we're pretty we're pretty intelligent as far as being able to think things up and come up with stuff and the design working tools and stuff like that. But when it comes to working with metal, working with iron, working with ferrous and non-ferrous metals, there's a type of science that's involved in that goes beyond just trial and error.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are things that there's a science that's involved in there.
Yeah.
And for it to be going for it to have been going on back in the time when our archaeologists, mainstream archaeologists, are saying that we were just coming out of the caves. You know, we were basically had I don't even think that the wheel had even been invented yet. 5,000 years ago.
Well, if you believe in that one civilization, they had the wheel invented. We talked about that a few times too. They had writing, they had they had the wheel, they had everything.
Right.
The Dambu Valley people.
Well, we used to use logs to roll things with too, so
yeah.
I don't think you could just, somebody saw that log and just made it bigger. And
sure.
I've done some calculating and some research on that, and you can move some items using rollers or using logs.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get above 2.5 tons,
yeah, pretty much.
Above 2.5 tons,
yeah,
you
pretty
are
much
fighting yourself to move anything.
It's like putting
your rollers are going to dig into the ground before. If you say 5 tons, I'm just going to go to 5 tons. You go to 5 tons, you try to roll something on rollers of 5 tons, you can't do it.
No, it'd crush it.
You can move it 2 or 3 inches at a time. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and
Like
you have to re-rig and redo it and all that. That's too much. I mean, if they had done that, if they used that type of design and built and say that's how they went about building the pyramids.
Right.
The pyramids would still be building the pyramids today. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
If they were building it with rollers, they're putting those stones in place with rollers. They'd still be working on it today.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not talking about just we're talking about building all 3 of those pyramids, and they were all 3 built simultaneously. You know, basically they're right around the same time. You know, and they were purposely built as a device to gather and to generate electrical energy.
There's some form of energy anyway. Yeah.
You know,
Whether microwave or electrical.
I've said this and said this all along. This is long before Christopher. I've heard anybody like Christopher Dunn or Graham Hancock or anybody else of the technology that was behind it. I had already come up with this. I had already thought that there was something going on there, that they weren't, that these weren't built as a temple or as a place to bury somebody. You know, not a burial chamber or something like that. They were built and not only that, but they were not built by the Egyptians. No. The Egyptian dynasties, when the Egyptian dynasty started, the pyramids were already there. Yeah. The pyramids are a lasting link. They are a in our face true
modern day Puma Punku
to Atlantis.
Yeah.
They are direct. The pyramids are direct descendants of Atlantis.
Well, here's my question. You know, about pyramids. Why pyramids? Why is it every continent around the world had some form of pyramid? You know, what was the deal with that? You know,
because they generated, and that's along those mathematical lines and those mathematical formulas and everything that exist there. The geometry and everything is set up to create electrical energy.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, you know, you go around the world and you look now.
The pyramid of the sun. I mean, it is I mean, that is just unbelievable. The amount of.
But how would these cultures
at awe at the pyramids at Giza?
Yeah.
And they are a wonder. They are just unbelievable. And when you see the pyramid of the sun in Teotihuacan, that just blows you away because the amount of architecture that's involved there is just off the chart.
Oh, absolutely.
That is not just throwing stones on top of each other to make that.
No, it's precise.
One side is a complete perfect space. You cannot do that by just throwing stones together.
No,
that was purposely done. Those were purposely fit. They were, you know, and the amount of time and everything. If they were chiseled by hand, it would take. You know, they had some type of tools or some type of devices that allowed them to cut that stone and to help them to build all these things.
Right.
There is a perfect example. Then you go to Southeast Asia, and you look at in Cambodia at Angkor Wat, and you see the sophistication and the amount of detail that's in stone, and granite, and hard granite and diorite. You know the hardest stones that are next to diamonds. Which means that they had to be cut with diamond.
Yeah, something as harder. Yeah.
Oh, it's. I mean,
yeah.
To me, that's just in my face. Pure. That is definite signs that there was some type of
higher intelligence,
high tech tools being used in ancient times that were tools that were not.
Well, they've
and an energy and an electrical energy field that we still aren't able to put to work.
Oh, we still can't. We can't. A lot of it up now, and but it's a long time.
Right. Exactly. But what amazes me though is
that's what I'm studying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm really into, and is to redesigning, reinventing these tools and the sophistication and the everything, the energy grid and everything. You know how it works and all that stuff. You know, and it includes all and they're all interlocked with each other because again, all these places are set at these high energy places on the earth where they're interconnected by these lines, and they're all on these points. Angkor Wat, Teotihuacan, even Chichen Itza, and I can think of so many different names of the Mayan cities down in the Yucatan. There's Pakal and all of them, on and on and on. All these, all those little cities, those villages, and all those temple complexes were all built at areas where the energy emits from the earth. So they use that. They have that to tap into as their electrical supply, and then they have the tools that work with it. You know, that works right there with it. You know, and that is what I'm wanting to tap into, to find, to kind of reinvent, or to, like Tesla did, you know, when he designed the AC electrical system, you know, when he designed, you know, AC motors and stuff, you know, he did it by first thinking about it in his head. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking about things in my head, seeing how it works and seeing how it can, you know, and along the line here, maybe I'll get with some other people that are already doing it, because I know that there's already other people that are involved in doing this research. There are other people. I'm not the only one. There are many other individuals and groups around the world that are doing research on this stuff. You know, and so I know that this is something that is vital, something that's real, something that is tangible, something and something that we can use and put to work today. You know, and it's total clean. You talk about clean energy. This is clean, renewable energy without doing any harm at all.
But you know what?
To the earth, or
to
our environment.
You know what's sad though, Tim, is the governments and that would not allow it. They would not. I mean, we could have had it. We could have had it already.
No, they don't.
You know, they.
No. Well, yeah, I know the feds came in and took all of Tesla's notes and all
absolutely.
Oh
yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Stuff when he died.
Yep. So. They took all his patents and everything, and that's how come Edison and everybody else went on, because you know they bought off their patents, or when his patents, you know, became extinct.
Westinghouse and Edison had already gotten a lot of the other stuff that the government didn't get. Yeah. They already had.
Right.
So a lot of those things are tucked away in a hidden vault somewhere. You know,
well, see, a patent,
some evil.
Yeah, a patent's renewable. See, that's the thing. When it comes to Tesla's patents, a patent's only good for so many years, and then it comes up for grabs. And whoever buys it or has the money to buy that patent or renew that patent, that's who gets it, you know. And that's how that works. And so when he died, and the government or whoever confiscated all his stuff, you know, they kept his patents until it ran out, and then they could pass it along to whoever.
I think they erased it from the patent office.
I do too. Yeah, I do too, honestly. But you know, unfortunately, that's how it worked. But whoever had the most money at the time won. I mean, that's how it worked, and they wound up with it.
It's all government agencies, so you're looking at, you know, I mean. You know,
well, back then, you know, who was the main people but Morgan's, you know, Westinghouse, and you know, there's only a handful of people, Rockefellers, Yeah. So, you know, J.P. Morgan was one of the big ones. I mean, you know, so, I mean, there was a big fight, you know, between oil and electric and whatever at the time. And, you know, our history is just nuts. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, it really is. You know, our booming age here in the United States, you know, our what do they call that? There's a special name for it. Our industrial age, you know, exploded. And
industrial revolution.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And we only had a handful of people that had the money to make it roll. I mean, that's how it was, you know. And they bought presidents, honestly. They bought presidents and vice presidents, and you know, that's how it worked back then. So known fact.
They bought it, they paid for it to be covered up.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Damn shame. But here we are.
And then they drug Tesla up. It was Edison drug Tesla up and set him up in the motel there in New York City. And that's where he spent the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You know, and he became a madman, you know, and basically.
Yeah.
And everybody, you know, everybody says he went crazy. Well, he didn't go crazy. He was drugged up. They had, you know, Edison tapped into, you know, tapped in.
I'd like to know the real story.
This is what I think.
Yeah. I'd like to know the real story behind that. Really. Was he that much of a threat? I mean, you know,
kind of like Howard Hughes.
Right? Yeah, a recluse, right?
He just went nuts out there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he was a nut. I mean, everybody knew that. But wow.
He ended up going crazy after a while. You know, he was over impulsive. He had OCD. He suffered from severe OCD.
Yeah.
You know, and those stories you see, those movies you see about, you know, the movie The Aviator is a perfect example of, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's the story of Howard Hughes.
Yes.
And it'll show you how crazy he was, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't really crazy, but it developed as time went on.
Yeah.
You know, things got more and more and more. Like his obsession to be clean, you know?
Yeah.
And he couldn't stand women who wore jewelry. Tesla was the same way. He could not stand women that wore earrings or necklaces. It just freaks him out. He couldn't handle it, man.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fact. You know, but that, I mean, who's to say when you become, you know, when you have a working mind like Tesla or Einstein or anybody, you become what they call eccentric. You know,
Einstein was pretty laid back, though.
Einstein was crazy. You know, that he was delusional. You know, he never combed his hair. Well, you know, this is the guy that came up with so many different theories of relativity. You know, the general theory of relativity. You got this type of relativity, that type. You know,
which still to this day is the only working model that works. Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They all absolutely work.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a certain amount of eccentricity. There we go again. I'm getting some kind of eccentric.
Yeah.
You become, you know, you do stuff that normal is what seems to be normal, what people call normal. You know, but hey, you know, just because you don't fit somebody's
criteria
of what they think you should be doesn't mean that you're not intelligent.
Exactly.
You know? I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people think that I'm halfway lunatic, you know, because of what I come up with, you know, what I talk about.
Join the crowd.
I can sit down. People have time, and you know, I'm willing to sit down with somebody and give them step by step by step, how these things work. But most people don't want to. They all they want to see is that all they want to do is to exploit other people's eccentricities,
right,
and to make other people look stupid.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's what people like to do. You know, they like to make other people look inferior.
Yeah.
And don't do that. Ain't
Got a lot of that going around.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
That's human.
Human nature.
That's human nature. Yeah.
Yeah. I see Brian's on, Catherine's on, Steve's on, Gail's on. Hello, everybody. Yeah, got a little group there going. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I forgot my Facebook. I forgot I was even on Facebook.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep. Waving out. I still got a couple of 3 viewers on Hangouts or YouTube, one of the two. I'm not really sure which one it is because they're both the same camera, so I don't know which side is which. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I have to use one camera for the YouTube and Google, and then the other camera for the Facebook one. So it's funny.
Oh.
But Brian says, "Hello, my friend." Hello, Brian. Yeah. But anyway. And we only got about
the pyramids earlier.
Yeah.
And how they built them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is how they did Stonehenge.
Well, that too. I mean, and then
that's another good one.
I mean, because the stones that came from came from
miles,
3 miles away, and there was there's really no flat overland route to get there.
No.
Hey,
crazy.
The blue stones came from 150 miles away. They came from Wales.
Yeah. Way out there.
The blue stones came from 150
Facebook is way better.
And
cool.
not only that, but the only way that they can figure that they got them there was to drag them there. And there's no way you drag them up and down.
They're not dragging that far.
And stuff.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah,
ain't no way.
But Stonehenge and Karnak in France
Mm-hmm.
are megalithic sites that I've been looking at. And now follow me here, guys. Now on all these big things like that, we just look at it that the stones were all that was there.
Right.
What if stones are used? What if now and if not what if stones are used like that to help to generate the energy or to help that flow?
Yeah.
What if those stones were the interior, the integral foundation of a much larger structure that they were that when they were in operation, when they were being used for the purpose they were put in place for, they were covered up by buildings or by some other structure that was using the energy that was coming through through the natural earth emitting energy that was being generated and being magnified by these large megalithic stones to use them for whatever, for power source, for I mean, the list go. I've always looked at Stonehenge being a rocket port, a launch port for rockets, because it's built along the same lines as the old gantry launch where Apollo burned up. God rest her souls. Back in 1968. There is, it looks like, could be Stonehenge,
right?
Basically, but made out of iron,
right?
You know. But
well, I often wondered.
34A kind of looks like it too. I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah, that German.
34A is where they at least launch a shuttle from, and the Saturn.
Yeah.
Right,
and that's where they're do some of the SpaceX stuff.
And other places like Baalbek in Lebanon.
Yeah.
That the foundation there of, or the temple complex, where the Romans had built their huge acropolises and their buildings on top of.
Right. Right.
That was all afterwards. But the platform itself is stationary for some type of big.
Something heavy.
Something heavy.
Yeah.
And something big was sitting there.
Sure.
Landing there.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been a landing platform or a landing and launching platform.
I often wondered if
that Stonehenge.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just think that Stonehenge could be one of those places like that also, but that it goes back much earlier. That's one of their first their first working platforms they had for it. And later on, as time went on, they got bigger and bigger and better at doing what they did, and along came Baalbek. But also Karnak. When you look at Karnak, the way the stones are laid out and the geometry that is at work there is not just that those stones were not just placed in lines and rows like that, you know, just for ornamental purposes. There was a reason for it. It had a function. There was a functionality to it.
I often thought that might have been some type of an antenna system or a communication system of some type. You know,
it's hard telling, whatever. But yeah.
Well, they're saying it's kind of like a solar calendar type deal where you can, you know, chart the seasons and whatnot on it, but it seems kind of elaborate for just that.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
Well, the same thing with Stonehenge. I mean, just about any kind of megalithic structure you find, and I don't care where it is in the world, it lined up with the solstices one way or the other, you know, or eclipses, or
line up on solstice.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
sure. Crying out loud, I had for under that same pretext, under that same design. Okay, I had my window set up in my apartment back in 2002. I had it set up where I knew exactly when the
solstice
equinox was.
Right.
I knew when the day of equinox happened because the crack I had in my curtains, and where the shadow, where the sun shined on the wall.
That's
on
cool.
My walls, across from it, you know.
Yeah.
So I could tell what day was going to be what day was equinox. The equinox days in the spring and in the fall, and then I also knew the summer solstice and the winter solstice.
Wow.
I could tell all that, you know, just by, you know,
a certain way it come in.
We can use wherever you're at. You can make anything line up to work for you. You know, shadows can work this, do that, you know, and a lot of
that's what I was saying. It seems kind of elaborate just to do that with. But
yeah.
Yeah. I guess until we invent time travel, we're never going to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, the thing about it, we already do have time travel. It's just not privy. We're us regular civilians or us regular
90 seconds.
People. We're not privy to that, but we are doing, and we do have the capability to time travel right now.
Right.
I know this as much as I know anything in the world. Those are things that I've seen, things that I've witnessed, things that I have seen with my own two eyes. These are not things that somebody told me about. These are something that I read about. These are things that I have actually seen.
60 seconds.
So I know, and when you get to that point, and when you have been there, and you walk the walk, you know that you know that you know that you know,
right?
You know that you know that you know that you know, and it goes on, infinitesimally that way, because I know that I know that I know. There's no denying that. when the truth is going to be divulged to us is anyone's guess.
Yeah.
But but there's more to life. There's more to the world than what we have been taught, and what we have grown up to believe is real. The truth is
I believe that totally.
Reality is a whole lot different, and way more different, and a lot more beautiful.
Absolutely.
Than anything that you can possibly imagine, y'all. And for whatever purpose, and mainly because the governments of the world want to keep everybody in control. They want to control the population. They want to be able to. They want to be able to, for nothing else, to control to collect your taxes.
Yeah.
Have you pay for their whatever and do this and do that. You know.
Right.
As long as you work and you pay your taxes and you be a good little robot, you're a good person. You know, and you get little trinkets along the way, you know. But if you step out of line, you're a malfunctioning unit, and they'll shut you up.
No, absolutely.
In a prison, or
then the Men in Black come and get you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, guys.
That's a completely different story.
Yeah.
No, not really. It's just a different. Has another tangent.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, it's just shooting off on a different tangent.
Well, guys, I hate to say this, but we've gotten out of time here.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good that we can come together. It's good that we can come together on a platform like this and speak about this.
Oh, absolutely.
And hope to enlighten people to not believe what we're saying, but to do their own. To do their own research.
Yeah.
You don't have to look very deep below the surface to find the truth.
No, that's
I'll
right.
tell you that much right now. It's not. It's not that far. It's not that far hidden. But if you want to, I mean, if people want to find the truth, it's out there. It's there.
Right.
And be prepared. It's a lot different than what the reality of it is. A lot different than what we're told and what we're taught.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's the truth. The caller there I see we had is 424 area code. I'm sorry I didn't be able to take your call because we were running out of time and everything. So hopefully, next show you can call us back and we'll get you on. Sorry about that. My apologies.
When is your next show going to be?
I'll probably do one again tomorrow night. I figured, I got some time off here, so I might as well use it up. So. So we can do that.
Cool. All right. Cool, man.
So we'll be back here again tomorrow night.
You guys have a good one.
6 o'clock.
Same time, same place, same bat station.
Absolutely. And I want to thank everybody that joined us there on Facebook and YouTube and Google Hangouts and everything. And I'm glad people are interacting and they're with us. So cool. And we just went over our 300th like here last night or night before, I think it was, on the Closer Encounters page. And I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for that. Thank you very much for being there. So that's cool. Yeah. We're going. So, Doc, I thank you for calling. Tim, same thing.
That's all. Good talk to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely good talk.
Thanks, Lawrence.
All right. You guys have a great night, and thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good weekend.
Yep. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, folks. Well, until we meet again tomorrow evening, thank you all for joining.
I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you.